Hi, I'm Eric Richardson, supervising producer here at Washington Performing Arts, talking about a night at Café Society with you today. So, Café Society, let's play a little game like, did you know? Did you know that Café Society was the first integrated club in New York City? It's believed to be the first integrated club in America. The first place where music lovers, people who appreciated the arts in the 30s and 40s could come together, no matter what color, no matter what they did in the walk of life, they came together to enjoy music, and that music included blues, jazz, a little bit of gospel, a little bit of folk music. There was so many opportunities, I think, for artists to come and work together. Again, the same mode of didn't matter what color they were, it didn't matter what they did, it didn't matter skill set. They came together to create this cabaret approach to good music. And that's exactly what a night at Café Society will be for us. On November 11th at Bethesda Blues and Jazz Club, I'm working with two dynamic individuals, our artist in residence, Mr. Murray Horowitz, and the biographer of the Hazel Scott book, Karen Shilton. And speaking of Hazel Scott, this is part 2 of our Hazel Scott celebration this season, where we celebrate a person who gave their all, with their talents, with their voice, to be an advocate for not only herself, but for her race and other individuals. She stood up, and as a result of her standing up and speaking her mind and fighting the system, she was erased, basically erased out of history. And some of you are thinking like, who is Hazel Scott? I always go through this with people that don't know Hazel Scott. I encourage you to Google Hazel Scott, but here's a little tidbit that'll help you know who Hazel Scott is. I always tell people, you've been on social media, you've seen this elegant woman playing 2 pianos at one time. That's Hazel Scott. You may remember Alicia Keys at the Grammys did the same thing. She was paying tribute to Hazel Scott. And November 11th, that's what we'll do. Pay tribute to Hazel Scott, as well as Café Society. So let's talk about the artists who will be there. Whew, I don't even know where to start because I love each and every one of these artists in a special way. That's why I'm happy to be one of the creators and producers in this element. But in that same vein of dance, we'll have the audience dancing on your feet. We also will have folk and blues. Our very own DC's, the area's own, Justin Trawick will be doing our tribute to folk and blues. In addition to that, we have no stranger to Washington Performing Arts, Tony Walker. If you've seen Tony with our gospel choirs, you know that he is a all-around full musician. He has done everything from work with our choirs to be the musical director for Lettucey. He also is, in his own right, a solo artist. You've seen him perform at many venues across our city and across this country. But on November 11th, he's performing at Bethesda Blues and Jazz. So we want you to be there. And I see a few people have joined us. So I'm Eric Richardson, telling you all about a night at Café Society. What is Café Society? I'll tell you. A cultural institution. The place, again, where artists were able to get together and integrate and work together. The first integrated club in New York, the first integrated club in our country. We're going to pay tribute to all of that because we can't duplicate it because, again, these artists were legendary, a part of history. So we have other artists that'll be a part of our wonderful night at Café Society. Let's think. We talked Tony Walker, we talked Justin Trawick, Damian Sneed. Another artist that we presented before at Washington Performing Arts, but he'll be with us in a special, I wish I could give it away, in a special tribute to Café Society and Hazel Scott. Damian, again, all-around musician who plays a number of instruments, plays a number of musical genres. We love Damian and we look forward to seeing him November 11th. Now, let's shift again. So I talked about Justin, I talked about Tony, talked about Damian. Let's talk about some of the ladies who will be with us. Nova Y. Payton. Nova is a voice, a a kind, sweet, wonderful person. And we recently saw her in The Color Purple at Signature Theater, but we have her on November 11th, paying tribute to someone, I wish I could give it away, for a night at Café Society, but I'll give a little segue to it maybe. Café Society, again, a cultural institution that we celebrate, along with Hazel Scott. Hazel Scott, at the age of 19, performed at Café Society, a 19-year-old in a 1930s 40 cabaret. How did that happen? Billie Holiday performed at Café Society. On purpose, strategically, she canceled her shows, went to the owner of Café Society and said, "You should hire Hazel Scott." He had no idea who Hazel Scott was. He said, "Who's Hazel Scott?" He heard Hazel Scott do the classical music, and then she put her own spin on it. When he heard the classical, he says, "No, this is not it." He heard the swing on the music, and he said, "Hazel Scott's hired." And of course, who's gonna go against Billie Holiday? So we have, again, amazing talent, another dynamic individual who will be at Café Society, and another woman who I love is Shalea. You might know Shalea because just a couple months ago, she made her debut at the Royal Albert Hall. Well, she's going from Royal Albert Hall to Bethesda Blues and Jazz with us on November 11th for a night at Café Society. In addition to all the wonderful things that she does, you might remember Lifetime did a movie on the Clark sisters. Well, Shalea played Dorinda Clark Cole in the movie. She's also in a series with TV One now and a number of other things. She's done, I think, things from, let's see, working with Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones said that she is one of the premier performers of her generation. With validation from Quincy Jones, that means you should be with her on November 11th at Bethesda Blues and Jazz. Let's see, who else do we have? Etienne Charles. This man takes a trumpet and he makes the trumpet sing and dance and all of these amazing things that he does. He recently was praised for a show that he did in New York, and he is not only an arts educator, but a dynamic performer who will be with us to share in a very special presentation that we are curating and presenting. So let's see, we've got Etienne, we've got Shalea, we've got Nova, we've got Justin, we've got Anthony Walker. We need a musical director. We've got Chuck Red, international drum, oh goodness, words can't even describe. He plays so many instruments, the drums, the xylophone, and he's just absolutely amazing. He's bringing it all together with the music, and we talk cultural institution, we talk Café Society, we talk Hazel Scott. I forgot to mention, Café Society also had comedy. Here's another kind of legendary connection that we have. Our host for the evening will be the great nephew of Dick Gregory. Mark Gregory is our host. He'll make you laugh, he'll make you think, he'll take you on the journey with us, he'll guide us through a night at Café Society, which is taking place, oh yeah, you know, November 11th at Bethesda Blues and Jazz. And if I were you, I'd get tickets real fast. You can get tickets at WashingtonPerformingArts.org. Again, November 11th, a night at Café Society. Get your tickets today because tickets are going fast. We look forward to seeing you on November 11th at Bethesda Blues and Jazz for a night at Café Society.